Hey guys, this is the fourth segment, I believe, and unless I'm off tonight, I want to go over one other secondary block for you. We talked about our base block in terms of our perimeter blocking on inside veer and right and inside veer left. So we know what inside veer right and left are. We know what the blocking schematics are of that. What we're going to do real quick is I'm just going to break this down real fast for our secondary guys. If we're running our base set, which our base set is basically two wings, two receivers, one tailback, one quarterback, no tight ends. Basically what we're doing is we've got three schematics we're going to use. We have what's called our base, our regular blocking scheme. We're going to call that regular, which we're going to do. We have our switch blocking scheme. And then we have our crack blocking scheme. These are the only three blocking schemes that our receivers are going to need to know this year. All right. What we have, and I want to go over this real quick, our regular scheme from the last video that I did right now. Our last video showed that if we were going to run, let's say we're going to run veer right or 12 veer right, we had the wing going to free, and we had the corner going to the corner, or the receiver going to the corner. This was our regular blocking scheme. If we run veer left or 13 veer, once again we have our wing going to free, and we have our wide receiver going to corner. So if we're running 13 veer, this is what it looks like. If we're running 12 veer or veer right, this is what it looks like. What we're going to do now is we're going to expand to the next part of it. When we're running inside veer out of this formation, out of our base set right now, okay, the other blocking scheme we have is called switch. All right, what we want to do is we want to create some games and some matches with our corners and our slots here so that we can throw off their secondary or defensive secondary so we can do some things that we want to do. So one of the things we do in switch blocking is we'll have our slot receiver, or our slot back, and our wide receiver actually do what's called a switch block. All they're going to do is switch up who they block. It's very simple, very easy. Actually, the receiver and the slot can actually communicate that once we get good enough. But basically, here it is. If we're going to run inside veer right, so quarterback comes up, quarterback's cadence is down set. So on down, the line gets down. He's going to hand motion to the wing. The wing's going to go into his motion real quick. On set, everybody's going. Okay, so we've got our veer movement. We have this, and we have this. Okay, our line knows who they're blocking. So we've got guard to tackle. He's going to come down hard. He's going to make sure there's a double team. If he doesn't need the double team, he's going to move up, and he's going to do what we call our inside veer block or our veer release. Okay, the center's going to step play side. He's going to come up. We have backside A gap, and we have backside wheel and seal or backside B gap. All right. We have our screaming receiver from the backside, so he's got the lookout block. Okay, he's coming across looking for somebody he can hit from the front side, not the backside, obviously. And then what we have here is we have our switch block, which basically does this. Our outside receiver is going to go to free safety instead of the corner, and our slot is now going to take an arc release. He's not going to go directly to the corner. He's going to arc towards the corner this way, and he's going to block the corner. Notice how none of these change so far, though. The EML, or the defensive end, is still the dive key, and the outside backer is still the pitch key here. All we're doing is we're switching up the secondary movement, so if the defense rotates their secondary or does something that we don't want them to do, all right, we can switch it up a little bit. Plus, this is going to go into a little bit of a passing game area, too, so if teams start to cheat on us and they start to bring the secondary up, we can run this scheme and do some different things, all right? So that's what's called our switch block. So we did our regular block, we did our switch block. And this is very simple. We could actually have our slot and our wide receiver communicate this if they think that they can do this and do it so that it's advantageous for us in the long run, especially when we're running inside veer. All right, those are two. The last block we're going to talk about is just a crack block. All right, it's real simple, real easy, and it's exactly what it says it is. But what it does is it does change our read a little bit for the quarterback. All right, our reads for the quarterback do switch a little bit. So what happens here is we still, everything in inside veer looks exactly the same. What's going to happen, though, is our pitch key is going to change. Our pitch key is going to change based on this crack block here. What we have now is we have the wide receiver in the slot here. And what's really going to change is going to be who this receiver right here blocks. Who X and who Z block when we come to their side. So we have X and we have Z. All right, when we do our crack block, what we really want to try to do is we want to try to take this backer out of the scenario, and we want to create a new situation where we're going to read the corner. Now the corner is going to be our pitch key. So on crack block, if we're going to run veer right, our slot is actually going to continue to the free safety just like in normal or in regular blocking. But our Z receiver is going to come down hard and take an angle that's going to give him the best advantage to crack block this outside backer. All right. Quarterbacks, keep in mind this is what's going to happen now. This dive key, who is the number 1 read, okay, stays the number 1 read, but now your pitch key in the crack block, or in this crack block scenario, pitch key now becomes the corner, and he's number 2. So now when we're running veer, everything here is the same. We still have the same motion. We still have the same action. The line's still doing the same thing. We still have our lookout block from the backside. But now what we have here is, instead of reading this outside backer, if we get a receiver who makes a good crack block, now it goes to the next level. So now what we're doing is we're forcing this corner to make a decision. Is he going to come in and play the quarterback, or is he going to come up and play that guy? And if he does that, you can notice right there how big the hole and how big the gap is. Okay? So this is our crack block scenario. So once again, we have regular, okay, we have switch, and we have crack. For my corner, or for my wide receivers and my slots, if you have any questions on this, quarterbacks, if you have any questions on this, please let me know. We can sit down and talk about it. Otherwise, those are our 3, we call these perimeter blocking. So these are our perimeter blocking schemes. And this is what you need to know for this year. Hope you guys are getting all this down. I hope it's helping you out a lot. And I'll wait till the next segment. Rise up.